all the rants.
Because you're supposed to laugh at it. You're supposed to see that they are vapid. They are freaking vampires in a school.
All the reactions. And all the fangirls screaming have come down to this. So on February 4th, I saw Vampire Academy at the worldwide premiere. If you would like to see all of my adventures I had with Christine from Pulling Bananas Books, I will have it linked down below for you to watch. But right now, we're going to be talking about the film. On my written review, which I wrote on pagepremiere.com, I gave the film a 3.9. Now, I do believe it's more of a 3.8 or 3.7. Personally, I loved it. If you're still debating on whether you should see this movie, stop. Just go see it. It's so much fun. Just stop debating, go buy your ticket, and go see the movie. And do us all Vampire Academy fans a favor and just go see it, please. It is the week after the opening weekend for Vampire Academy, and the film only made $4.1 million in the box office. That's not good at all. I will get critical in this review, but right now I just want to tell you all that it was so much fun. It was so entertaining. I laughed a bunch of times, and Zoe Deutsch just completely blew me away with her interpretation of Rose Hathaway. Vampire Academy is basically about friendship, and it follows two girls named Rose and Lissa, and they have this special sort of bond where Rose can hear and feel everything that Lissa is feeling. There's so much to the whole series, but in the first book, you're just getting a glimpse of it. There's some sexy romance thrown in there. There's the high school drama, the trials and tribulations of high school, and there's some mystery to it as well. And of course, vampires. The genre is a bit stretched out, but you wouldn't think of this movie as a vampire movie at first. You would think of it as a fun, entertaining movie about friends. The general public is sick of vampires, and I understand that, but give it a chance and go see the movie and then come back and talk with me later. And okay, bye people who have not seen the movie, go see it. I'm telling you, you want to see that movie, or else I'm gonna come at you with a silver stake. Okay? Okay, so for people who have seen this movie, let's talk about it. There are a couple things that really bothered me about the movie. First of all was the first sequence of scenes. It was so rushed, and this is not the writer's fault. I actually have the final draft of the script, and I was just rereading the first, like, say 10 minutes of it over again, and it's so much better, the script form. It was Weinstein Company who decided to chop up that movie, okay? And just by reading the script by Daniel Waters, I know that the rest of these movies are going to be phenomenal. Trying to get across the mythology that's behind the series and the characters, it's so difficult. The first sequence, when Lissa is dreaming about the car crash that she was involved in, and then, you know, Rose wakes up and everything, and then Rose goes into the room and wakes her up. That whole conversation just felt so forced. I felt like all this information needs to be told to the audience right now, or else they aren't gonna get it. And some of the added bits in it just weren't good. I did not like the poster thing. I can't remember what they said in the movie, but in the script it's a lot better here. This right here flows much easily than it did in the movie. So after the whole, like, okay, the poster on the wall, I see it. Who is it? Jim McCart. Who is it again? The poster is of President Jimmy Carter. In here it says, "You told me I needed to blend more into an oregano society." Rose was like, "We're in Oregon, but hey, thanks for playing. Please just don't put up a Justin Bieber poster." Alyssa says, "Why, is he the current president?" That's so funny. Why wasn't that in the movie? This first scene was the scene that they reshot a couple months ago, and they added Zoe Deutsch's plastic surgery face, which I guess she's known for. I felt like it was just like, let's add something funny in here that the actor can do just to make it better. I just did not like the plastic surgery thing. Why couldn't they have stuck to the script that is in front of me? It's so much better. So this first conversation, I could tell that it's forced and it's not organic. I understand. We are following two girls who have lived in their supernatural world their entire lives. We aren't following girls who are just getting used to the supernatural world. We have to catch up with the characters. And I just thought that the way they went about catching the audience up to what the characters already knew just didn't flow very nicely. And this had to do with scenes being cut out. The whole first fight sequence with the Guardians was really cool. And then Dimitri coming and walking out with his, you know, duster and saying, "Princess Vasilisa Dragomir, I am here to take you back to St. Vladimir's Academy." Like, okay, I like the line, but I totally loved when Rose first calls Dimitri comrade. I don't think you've been paying attention, comrade. To get to her, you have to go through me. And her just like, walking up. Now we're getting to the part where the Strigoi are added. And I had a huge problem when I watched these trailers of the Strigoi's involvement in the film.
Strigoi! Wait, do Strigoi appear in the first book? Because Strigoi don't actually come into the school, or we'll see what happens. Okay, what's with the Strigoi stuff? Okay, someone explain this to me. Okay, and then the Strigoi, they must be incorporating the Strigoi in the last scene where Lissa gets taken.
I was super skeptical about how they were doing this and why they were going to add it. I mean, I was still open-minded, but I did not like the idea that we were going to see a horde of Strigoi in the film. But the way that they did it in the first point where we see the Strigoi, I loved. Rose's explanation of the two vampires had to have, because you've already seen the Dhampir and you've already seen the Moroi, so I get it. We needed to see the Strigoi in action. Oh, I love the line where it's like, oh, and Moroi don't sparkle. I love that. I'm a huge Twilight fan, but that was hilarious. I died in the theater. So the Strigoi, and they're all sitting in the car before the gates. You know, this probably happens a lot at the academy, but you know, as in Rose's point of view, we don't always get to see this. When the Strigoi like first come out and you get to see like Dimitri using the stake, and then, you know, Rose disobeying Dimitri for like the how manyth time, I don't know. I really liked that first sequence with the Strigoi. So I made a couple videos about Vampire Academy, if you guys have not known. In my second to last video about Vampire Academy, I kind of did like a whole what I'm expecting from the movie, and let's see if I still agree with this. I'm going into this movie because I'm excited to see all the characters. I'm excited to see the story. I'm excited to see Dimitri, but I'm not going into it thinking that it's going to be some amazing movie. No, you go into this movie knowing that you're going to have fun and knowing that you will be entertained. The only thing I'm looking for when I watch this movie is to not make fun of it like I did with the Mortal Instruments. And to not cringe at parts. I hope none of these parts in this movie are cringe-worthy. I'm hoping that I'm laughing along with it. I think that— Did I cringe at parts? I was thoroughly entertained. I enjoyed myself. But when it came to parts that I cringed at, there was only like one or two of them that I actually did cringe. I think the only one that I remember right now is during the end of the movie when Lissa is doing her whole blood speech. I did not like that. Lissa would never do that with the queen. No one would ever go, shh, hold on. No. You don't do that to Queen Tatiana. I did not like that speech. I didn't. I thought it was really cheesy, and I was like, stop. Yeah, that's what I did. I hope you guys agree with me. Let me know if you did not like that speech, because I didn't like that speech at all. No. Other parts that I was disappointed at were the very small Guardian training scenes with Dimitri. Those were so much fun in the book. And another thing, they didn't explain why she was going to these private lessons with Dimitri. There was no transition, there was no explanation, just like, okay, she shows up at the Guardian thing. They didn't use that station thing at all in the movie. I mean, yeah, we got a wide shot of it and Dimitri walking through it, but did we see Rose using it? No, we didn't see Rose using it. And I thought that was just like such a letdown. It was so cool. It's just like, it's like a toy and you want to play with it, but they didn't let us play with it. Why? That whole like first training scene was like from the book. I loved it and I just wanted more. The other scene that I totally loved with the training scene was, you know, she didn't really need any more training. I loved it when he was like giving her compliments and she's like, yeah, I want to hear all of that. The feelings, the feels made me go like, yeah. The other training thing, transition scene that did not have an ending transition was when Rose goes to find out what happened to Alyssa, you know, after the whole Jesse Zeklos thing. She has to save the fox, and then Rose says to Dimitri, I want you to teach me how to fight. And it's like, oh yeah, teach her how to do that, yeah. And the audience is just like, yeah, I want to protect Alyssa, I want to kill. And then it goes to classroom. What the heck? Also, the comedy in the movie, I loved it. It was great. I don't see why people are so pissed off at why this movie is hilarious, but it is. But with comedy, you have to have time for the audience's brain to catch up with the funny line. At times when I was watching this movie and something was funny and that was said, I couldn't just let my laughter out. I had to suck it back in and be alert on what was happening next. Nothing was breathing. I couldn't stay on anything. And it was so frustrating because all I wanted to do was laugh at a line. But then you would go on to something else. And another important line was said and you couldn't focus on that funny line because you had to figure out what was happening. Another thing was Mia Rinaldi's storyline. I mean, the first two books. You hate Mia so much. She is a backstabbing little bitch. I didn't really feel that way about her in the film. Now, either it was Sammy Gale's acting or it was scenes that were cut out from the film. It didn't work. She didn't really do anything to me. And I feel as an actor, when you have such a fun role of Mia to play, you need to take advantage of that. You need to have the audience hate you. I wanted to hate her and I didn't hate her. I mean, I just kind of felt let down because I didn't feel what I felt in the books, and that was hatred towards Mia. When it finally gets down, like, and, you know, Lyssa is back with Aaron and then Mia is like in the church and she's crying, it's like there was no big blowout, like nothing happened. It was just like really quiet and then suddenly Mia was crying. I took my mom to the movies to see it and she was like, she had to whisper over to me, she's like, wait, what's going on? What's happening? I don't understand what's going on. Why is she crying? And I was like, it's because, you know, Lyssa's back on top, blah, blah, blah. Visually, that was shown to us. Verbally, it was not explained. Now let's talk about some positive things because I feel like I've been on the negatives so far. Zoe Deutsch. Zoe frickin' Deutsch. I love that woman. Oh gosh. She is the perfect Rose Hathaway. She plays that badass character really well. She delivers those hilarious lines perfectly. And I applaud her for that. And she really made this movie shine. Danila Kozlowski as Dimitri. He's perfect. If I hear one more complaint about him being ugly or fat or too old for the character, by the way, they aged up his character,
I'm gonna slap bitch because he was perfect.
I felt his presence was there to ground the viewers. When he spoke so softly to Rose about don't cut your hair, which by the way, when he said that, I literally was like, oh, just like made my heart sink. Partially because he's an adult. He's not, you know, a 16-year-old or, you know, a 23-year-old playing a 17-year-old. He just like sweeps in and just makes everything so much better. Danila was really a gentleman. Lucy Fry as Lyssa Dragomir. I liked Lucy. Did I love her? No, I did not love Lucy. Did not mean for that to come out that way. She was a bit more catty and saucy as a character. I mean, she can't just be always a pushover. She looks the part, totally looks the part. She wasn't the best. Let's talk about Olga Kurylenko as Kirova. Kirova's part is so much more prominent in this movie than it is in any of the books. She came off a little more harsh. She was definitely someone who stood out on the screen, and I definitely applaud her for that, for taking a character who doesn't really have that many lines and making her more substantial, and I very much enjoyed Kirova on the screen in some of her little bits, although I didn't really like the whole like, I want to be a model, this guy saw me at a mall, and that was kind of stupid. The scene with Jesse and Rose and they're making out, that scene was so much better in the book. Dimitri didn't come in and like throw him across the room like did he do that in the book? It was just like, okay, get off of her, and then Rose goes speaking of the shadow kiss abilities, I remember kind of being worried about how they were going to do that because, you know, in the host, Melanie's voiceover always with Wanda, I didn't really like how they did that, but I think they did this pretty well. I know a lot of people didn't really like the whole like convulsion camera shot where it would be really tight shot on Lucy's face and then tight shot on someone else that she was doing the convulsion, right? Convulsion. Yeah, right? I still wish that they would have like glassed over Rose's eyes instead of making them gold, because every other character in YA Lit is like, oh, they have the very obscure gold eyes. I liked how we get the POV shot with Lissa, and then Rose would say some of her funny comments like, oh, you did not just flip your hair. That whole ending sequence with Rose talking to Victor and then Natalie coming in, I liked how we were kind of like entranced with Victor. He's talking about her shadow kiss abilities, and then all of a sudden you see bodies going down, and then boom, there's Natalie, Strigoi, chalky, white, red eyes, her hair's all like,
maybe I'll change you into Strigoi so we'll be friends forever. BFF.
I remember so many people being so upset with Rose having the stake. I was so afraid that they were gonna make her kill Natalie, but they didn't, and here comes Dimitri, you know, out of the elevator. And then Rose gets the rope thing and puts it behind Natalie's neck, and then he stabs Natalie. And then she like collapses because she's tired, and he says, Rosa. I'm just like, the feels are happening, the feels are happening. And then the Psyhounds, I don't know. I liked how their eyes changed color when they were in attack mode. And then the whole like Christian being shot and him like, that was cool. I like that. I really did. I kind of got like chills when I watched it. I think I was most perplexed with the last shot of Mrs. Karp leading the army of Strigoi. If you haven't read To Last Sacrifice yet, please mute your screen because this is kind of a spoiler. In the books, she doesn't really have any type of role in the Strigoi. She stays by herself, she stays secluded from the rest of society, and she's not General Strigoi. She's not leading Strigoi in any type of attack. I mean, I understand that they are trying to say, okay, we're waiting for the next movie. Here's what's gonna happen. I guess they're involving, you know, Mrs. Karp more into the storyline, but I mean, they could have done it a different way. I like how they showed us how Mrs. Karp turned into a Strigoi. When I was watching her on the screen and turning, I kind of got a little scared. It kind of reminded me of like a little bit of a horror movie, and I very much enjoyed that. I really wish someone would explain to me why they decided to add Mrs. Karp at the very last scene with her leading an army of Strigoi. I feel as though I have let you all know my feelings about the movie. I very much enjoyed it. There were just a couple things I didn't like, and you know, you always get that with movies, especially book to movie adaptations. I thought it was a fun movie. I'm 19 years old. I enjoyed it. My mom enjoyed it, so it has the mom approval. There were lines I will probably always remember, like, let's make tonight our bitch. Actors are perfect, and this team is perfect. A couple days ago I was thinking, well, maybe if they wait a couple years, then the movie might have done better. But I think right now with the team that they have set for this movie, that it's pretty perfect right now. I think this could be an awesome cult classic movie if people would just give it a chance. So please give it a chance. I would really very much would love to see Frostbite come to life on screen. I just had such a wonderful experience with this entire movie. In the end, I have hope for this franchise. This is like the first movie, I think, between Beautiful Creatures, The Host, The Mortal Instruments, I feel could keep moving forward with their movies. Yay for Vampire Academy! That was fun talking to you. This was my first review, so I hope you did enjoy it. And I hope I get to make a Frostbite movie review. If you guys want to keep talking about Vampire Academy with me, please comment down below and tell me your favorite part of the film, or maybe a part that you agreed with me on in this review. If you want to chat with me on Twitter, my Twitter name is @Tashopolis, just like my YouTube page, and all the links are down below. I'm excited for the future of this film, and with the future in mind, once again, I'm going to say bye guys. I'll see you all in the future. Bye! I feel like I'm kind of channeling Kirova with this necklace, but freaking uniform. If I ever wore one of these uniforms in real life, no way, Jose. And I did wear a uniform when I went to school and was not like this.